But let me share also my screen. I would like to share just my screen with you. Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome, everyone. I'm so delighted to have you online on our live stream on Facebook and on Zoom. So I'm really delighted that to see you all with us tonight or this evening. Okay, this afternoon, sorry. But it is, let me start by saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening for all of you, okay? Uh, Today, before we start and shed the lights on our new topic that we are about to start, let me revisit or recap what we've talked about before in the last 4 sessions. Actually, in the last 4 sessions, because we need to connect the dots. Hello? Can you see? Is somebody asking me?
السلام عليكم دكتور أكرم.
وعليكم السلام دكتور أسماء.
speak up دكتور أكرم.
Yes, can you hear me?
يعني
Okay,
not
Dr.
clearly.
Asma.
Not
Is
clearly.
my voice very clear now?
Speak up.
Yes, Dr. Asma.
Yeah, I hear somewhere Sana. I miss some.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I would like to shed the lights on what we've talked about before. I mean, the previous webinars, and then we need to delve into our new topic that we are about to discuss. So first of all, we talk about animal and human languages or animal and human communications. Okay, then we talk about why our language, I mean, human language, human being language, so specific. What made it so specific by nature or naturally? We talk about that in a way that there are some contributing factors or properties that make this language so unique compared to other species on the planet. So one of these properties was the displacement. We talk about animals and they do have, to some extent, their own displacement, but this kind of displacement is very limited within the place and time. We took example of bees, okay, when they are going to the beehive and if they found nectar and so on, okay. Then we talk about creativity, okay. Chomsky, in his early books, Syntactic Structure, 1957, he talked about within very few rules, you can produce an infinite, okay, number of sentences. So you can produce that with very limit, maybe about 15 to, about 10 to 15 rules, all right? The rules of the present simple tense and the past tense and future. Through this, all combined, you can produce an infinite number. But in terms of creativity in other creatures or species, we don't find that. Then we talk about cultural transmission. Okay, we shut the lights on the so-called cultural transmission. Imagine that you were born in, let me say, in Fiji, okay, and or Java in Indonesia, and you were born there, okay, or your parents from there, and you raised and grew up in, let me say, in Wascos, okay, in Dallas, okay, in the United States of America. Of course, you end up speaking your own language rather than Fijian, okay? And so to speak, okay? This is the case of other different people from different cultures. Imagine that you were, as an infant, your parents are from one of the French-speaking countries, okay? Francophone, let me say, from Senegal, okay? But you, as an infant, they moved, okay, your family, they moved to live in Brussels, okay, in the UK, or yes, any place you can name it, and you end up speaking your own language, not your parents' language. Why? Because language cannot be genetically acquired. So it's not as a matter of gene. Uh, we can get, okay, the some physical features from our parents, like the hair, okay, as it's black or brown or blonde hair, okay. In terms of eyes, yeah, wonderful brown eyes, green eyes, okay, whatsoever. You can acquire this, you can inherit this, okay, but you cannot inherit anything else. And we talk about duality, and we gave the example of a pen, or no, sorry, we give an example of bin, right? bin, like bin, okay, as a trash bin, and like nib, in other words, if you change the word, okay. And we do have this in Arabic, we have it in English, we have it in all tonal languages, as well as the international languages. So we can find this in both. If you are Korean, if you are Chinese, Japanese, or etc., these are tonal languages, because it depends on the tone, ma, mi, mu, etc. Okay, or you are talking about the international languages like English, French, Indo-European languages, Afro-Asiatic file of languages, and so on. Okay, so this is just an idea about the properties. Then we have the arbitrariness. Okay, and this is exactly what one of the founding fathers of linguistics, by his name is Ferdinand, the Swiss linguist, Ferdinand de Saussure. He called it the arbitrariness. Why? Because a desk is a desk in English, or a table, and a tawla in Arabic, and a ditch in German, and so on. But for the same object, right? We're talking about the same object. So there's no natural connectivity or natural connection between the word and the object. Another example we took last week or 2 weeks ago was the dog, an object with 4 legs that barks, okay, but it's called a dog in English. It's called kelp in Arabic. In French, I call it. In Japanese, in Italian, it's the same thing, the same name for the same object. And this is what Palmer, in his book Semantics, the cover was, if I recall, is a red one. Okay, Palmer. He called that there's no, even he agreed with Ferdinand de Saussure about the idea of signify and signified, or signifier, okay, in French, if I remember. And Dr. Zenefia can help, right? This is just an overview, okay, a general idea of recapping or revisiting what we have taken before. And now let's delve into our new topic, which is advanced linguistics. Mainly, we're talking about the area of applied linguistics, and particularly the area of LA, the area of LA. Is it Los Angeles? No, there's nothing. There's no any connection between LA as Los Angeles in the United States of America and language acquisition. So now we will be shedding the lights on, or dive deep into the area of the so-called language acquisition. So let's start by this. Yeah, advanced linguistics. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? So far, so good. I mean, is my voice and in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah, yeah, it
clarity
is.
and
Yeah, it
clarification.
is.
So clear?
Yeah, so clear. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you remember this, Mr. Muhammad, or you didn't believe? I know that you are still a young man. Have you played this Rob or Rob? By the way, can you see my screen?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, is my screen visible, right? It's
Yeah, it
visible.
is.
Okay.
Just as your nice picture there.
Yes, I would like to remember, as Dr. Asma mentioned, the old days. We need to refresh our minds and to recondition our thinking.
We need to refresh our body as well.
Okay. So let's talk about this. Okay, this is the deep question or question. How children learn their language? You're talking about the manner. Why is a global phenomenon? Okay, if you are from the Far East, from Korea, let me say, and someone from Liberia, okay, but they acquire the same language according to the same community that they live in. Okay, so how? This is LA or language acquisition. There are many questions that surround the language acquisition. They raise trouble questions about that. So all children learn the language of the community they live in, regardless. Regardless their color, their sex, their religions, whatsoever, regardless. They acquire, okay, the language of the community that they live in. They do that in a remarkably short period of time. And that was the question that was posted on the announcement, okay? So they do that in a remarkably short period of time. It doesn't take long, okay? Then they arrive at the same grammar, irrespective of the sample of the language they are exposed to. It's all about language exposure. So the same grammar, the same rules, etc., irrespective, regardless of the sample of the language they are exposed to, whether it is, as I mentioned, Tolan languages like Korean, Japanese, and Bangladesh, Nepal, okay, or Nepalese, and so on, or Nepali, okay, or Slavic languages like Romanian, Bulgarian, Czech, and so on, or Indo-European languages, okay, English, French, etc., Italian, or Afro-Asiatic phyla of languages, okay. So all these languages. So it's global phenomenon. There's little or no training from adults. There's little, only little, or to extend that there's no training at all from adults. Children learn their languages equally well, even though the languages are different. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So if we're talking about the fonts, okay, if they are from our countries like the Arabophones, or they are from French-speaking countries, Francophones, Portuguese, and so on, Lusitophones, and so on. So from the community that live in, so they acquire the language. Okay, raising another question. How do children acquire their language in such a short time? It's a question, it's a deep question, and it needs answer. 2, what course does this activity take? A year, 2 years, a year and a half, 9 months? How long does it take? What is the role of the environment in language acquisition? So does the environment play a significant or a sine qua non in acquiring a language? Another question raised, if the child predisposed to language learning, I mean, they have the natural capability or capacity of acquiring the language. This leads us to the so-called developmental psycholinguistics. Developmental psycholinguistics. Some important facts about LA. It occurs before the age of 5. Before the age of 5. So an infant will be able to express themselves in a way that as adults do before reaching the age of 5 years. No child fails to learn language unless he grew up in a jungle and there's no families with him, okay, or relative or community or parents or whatsoever. And there were some experiments about these areas. We will talk about it later. LA follows almost the same course. It follows the same course regardless of an infant born where he was born or where he's born, okay? Or where he was born, okay? So they get the same course, the same time, the same duration of time. Language acquisition develops in stages. So what are they? We'll shed the lights on them. The stages approximate closely the adult linguistic knowledge. And as a matter of linguistic knowledge, I think Chomsky debates on it in terms of the competence and performance, right? Meanwhile, or on the contrast, Ferdinando Saussure called it lang and parole, right? So children do not learn by memorization or repetition of what they hear. And this is one of the shortcomings of the so-called behaviorist theory, okay? Or behaviorism theory, okay? The behaviorist scholars or linguists, they fail in these areas, okay? And we'll talk about this in minute detail later in upcoming webinars. We'll talk about why they failed, okay? What was the slot that were left behind, okay? So because they focus on drill and memorization and rote memorization, repetition, so on, okay, and so on. But children do not learn by memorization or repetition of what they hear, okay? That's why behaviorism failed. They construct and comprehend sentences they have never heard before. Yeah, because our language is a free stimulus or stimulus free. So an infant can produce and can construct and produce sentences as infinite or infinite. Infinite, because infinite means limited. Okay, so what I do mean here is infinite number of sentences. All right. And this is the tree diagram of Chomsky, if I remember in his syntactic structure. They build a mental system of rules and principles. Mental. Again, this leads us to the so-called developmental psycholinguistics, and mainly the area of cognitive linguistics, the area of cognitive, about the cognition and so on. A grammar of the language they are learning. So they will end up having a full command of the language that the rules that their language, the language that they exposed to. Okay, they will have, again, they will end up having a full command of the grammar or rules of the language that they did expose to. A theory of the language. This system enables them to produce and comprehend all the sentences their language. Yeah, so we talk about regardless of age, okay, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, regardless of their color, regardless of their ethnicity, I mean, regardless of where they live, okay, or where they were born. A conclusion from the observations, and we have this even not exclusively and inclusively in languages, but we do have it in science, right? Observations and experimentation, right? So observations, language acquisition is a complex task, but it's doable, learnable, trainable, attainable. It takes a short time, regardless where they were born. Input is of poor quality. Yes, and this what we talked about in the earlier slides, that they may get little, very little, or no training from adults. And they perform the so-called motherese. Conclusion. Again and again and again and over again. This is exactly linked to what we started earlier in the last 4 webinars, that what makes human beings so specific, so unique. Okay, human beings are born with the disposition, the ability to learn, to acquire, a language. Okay, but other species or other cultures, just like the example that we gave, they cannot. Even if, but they lack something. Because we talk about the displacement that bee or bees can have, okay, or they actually have, but it's very finite, very limited, within the place and time, immediately, right now, right here, right now. Okay, but they can't talk about the past, they can't talk about the future, or they cannot anticipate and expect the future to happen. They are naturally capable or capable of learning a human language in a way other animals are not. And that's so true. Again, this one of the probabilities, okay, made human language so specific. This conclusion is supported by some facts. Okay, oh, sorry. Again, this conclusion is supported by some facts. Number one, the course language acquisition text is similar amongst all children. Yeah, as we said, irrespective. I mean, regardless of where are they from, okay, or where they were born, but they acquire the same language, okay. So during the age before they reach the age of 5, they will have full command of the language. All children learn their language irrespective of any individual or social differences. Exactly. Okay. No matter where they are from, no matter what ethnicity or ethnic group they are, no matter, okay, regardless. Okay. And again, last time I gave an example of an infant born in Ouagadougou, okay, in Burkina Faso, but he raised, okay, and grew up in Alaska, for example, in Canada. So he ended up speak English, Canadian English. But exceptions. The role of the environment is very important. It's very crucial. And that leads us to the area of the debate between should I teach the language or should I focus on the language and about the language? Okay, so the debate was in the early 1960s and 70s toward teach the language. Don't focus on the contributing elements or elements surrounding the language, okay? Which was illogical, right? Because you need to focus on the language and the surrounding, the environment. And this is what some scholars they came up with, okay? Like Ferdinand de Saussure himself, he believed in that, okay? And later other scholars like William Labov and so on, okay? And now recent scholars like Habermas, the German philosopher and German linguist, Habermas, Jürgen Habermas. So you cannot acquire a language without the environment, the culture, okay? Then without linguistics input, to trigger the process of language acquisition, and a child will not learn language, okay? So we need linguistics or linguistic input. From where? Sometimes we need it from an adult. And those adults, I mean here, the parents, the first linguist, okay? And charity begins at home, right? So linguistic input. Then it leads us to speech from the surrounding environment. Yeah, so a language could be acquired from home. This is something given. And from the surrounding environment, the neighborhood, the streets, and so on. So you can acquire this. Some stages or the stages of language acquisition, this will be for the next webinar. I think now is quite enough for having you, and thank you for your time. Thank you all for attending this session. I think we talk about maybe 45 minutes. So it's now time for our game. We have an edutaining game. So gamifications or edutainment, this is one of the strategies that I follow while teaching. So I do believe in games. So let's have one, okay? And thank you all. We will talk about this later, inshallah, the stages. But now it's time for you, ladies and gentlemen, to, yes. Yes, let's focus on our game. This is Kahoot game. I need volunteers, if you don't mind. All you need to do, if you don't mind, if you please, just scan this QR code. Will you please scan this QR code? I need 5 to 10 players, even from Facebook. Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed? Hello?
Yes, yes. I said I will put the link.
Yes, you can. Just, will you please, if you don't mind, post the link on Facebook?
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Hello? Will you please join? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have this game as an entertaining game. And by the way, I'm going to give you a virtual chocolate to the winners, those who win. We have 1 participant or 1 player, but I'm eager to have more. Now we have only 1 player, and let me see how many people do we have in here. Yeah, we have 6. So will you please join if you don't mind? Yes, Blessing, Dr. Zainab, Amal, if you don't mind, will you please join? Can you please join the game? If you don't mind, if you please. It's gonna be value added. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad, for sharing. And sharing is caring. I see only 1 participant, but I'm eager to have at least 4, at least. So will you please join? And even those who are following us on Facebook, if you don't mind. Thank you, bro, Muhammad. Yes, Muhammad al-Bashir. Thank you. Yes. Hello. Come on, guys. I need at least 3, which 3 is not enough, but at least we need to have 3 or 4. If we got 4, 2, wonderful, wonderful. So I need 2. Yes, Blessing. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I need only 1. If we got 1, we're gonna start right away. Only 1 participant. May I have 1? Come on, guys. Will you please join? Yes, only 1. If we got 1, we're gonna start regardless. May I have only 1? Only 1. Yes. May I have only 1 player? Yes, I need. Oh, someone is out. Will you please, ladies and gentlemen, may I have only 2 players? Then we can start. We need to start this game today. Just will you please help me out with that? It's an easy game. It's not that difficult. It's a Kahoot game. So let's Kahoot it. I need only 2 players. Because 3, they're gonna be number 1, 2, 3. But I would like to have 4 or 5, if you please. Will you please join? I have 6 here. Dr. Zainab, Blessing, Dr. Asma, and Muhammad. Muhammad, can you join? And we have Amal Uthman and Dr. Zainab. Will you please join? Can you hear me? Yes, I need two players. There are two here, or there are two, but I need only other two, so it's gonna be four, at least four. Okay, so let's get started. If we don't have five, so let's get started by three. Here we go. Advanced linguistics, language acquisition. Here we go. All children learn the language of. I get one answer, two answers. Excellent. Only two answers. What about the third one? Okay. Thank you. One got it right and one wrong. That's fantastic. So let's move on. Dr. Asma, Ahmed Uthman, Blessing Muhammad. Wonderful. They do that in a remarkably short period of time. True or false? Okay, thank you. Only one. Okay, that's wonderful. Question number 3. They arrive at the same blah 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 irrespective of this.
Dr. Akram, I actually don't see the questions, or maybe because I'm
Really?
using my phone.
Can you see them on Facebook, Mr. Muhammad, if you don't see them on Zoom?
No, I mean on the game itself.
Really?
Yeah, or maybe
your cell
because I'm
phone?
using my maybe because I'm using my phone.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. What
Yeah,
about
it's okay.
Dr. Asma and Blessing and all of you? No one? Yes, there's the fourth one.
My internet.
Okay. Bonjour, hola, hello. One. Wonderful. This is the last question. The last question. What about Amal, Uthman, and Blessing, and Muhammad? I think there's something that related to connectivity.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
This is,
Lost question number 3.
yeah, this is the last question, by the way. Can you answer this question? This is the last question, by the way. One answer. I'm looking for only two answers. Okay, advanced linguistics. This is a podium. Okay, thank you, Ahmad Uthman. Got number 3. Muhammad, number 2. And Dr. Asma, you got a virtual chocolate as a gift for your wedding, by the way. Can you hear me, Dr. Asma? Hello?
Walaikum assalam, Dr. Akram.
You got a virtual chocolate as a gift for a wedding.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time. And thanks. I really appreciate that. And I do appreciate that. Thank you all for coming and attending this online session. I'm so glad that you are all here. So let me stop sharing my screen. Thank you, Dr. Amal Uthman, Dr. Zainab, and Dr. Future Dr. Muhammad Tom, okay, and Dr. Asma. I'm so glad for coming here, attending this session. I really appreciate you coming here. So stay tuned, stay connected, and our webinar, next webinar is gonna be next week, inshallah, if I'm alive. If I'm dead, God be with me. Okay, thank you very much indeed. See you next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much.